The new Tokyo Xtreme Racer will be releasing in less than 2 weeks, so let me take you through everything that we know about it so far. And just bear in mind, all the information that I'm going to be giving in this video is relevant to when this video goes live, and so some of the information is subject to change. It's going to be releasing on the 23rd of January 2025 into early access on Steam. It's been developed and published by Genki, and although console release hasn't been confirmed just yet, don't rule it out yet. If it is coming to console, it's likely going to be around the time of version 1.0. It's a single-player racing game set in a sealed-off future Tokyo, where you compete for the fastest speed in customized cars, where you aim to reach the top, you compete against powerful rivals, and you drive real cars on the Tokyo Expressway faithfully reproduced. For those that are unfamiliar with the series, you have what's called an SP battle, which is Spirit Point Battle. The SP battle is a unique battle feature-based spirit points, a numeric value that quantifies the willpower of drivers, and this involves challenging rivals to one-on-one on highway duels by flashing your headlights, and races are won when you or your competitor runs out of speed points after falling too far behind, and you will also lose SP when you collide with walls and other cars, so it promotes clean driving. I mentioned about early access, so let's talk about that. So first of all, the why. As it was the first time in over 18 years that the series will be returning, the devs felt it would be best to launch the game in early access to do justice to the franchise. A lot has changed in the genre since it was around, and they believe it's just as important to collect feedback not only from the fans that have stuck with the franchise, but also from the racing game fans in general. For the duration of early access, the plan is to improve the quality of the game by making various improvements based on feedback over the course of approximately 4 months of early access. So we could be seeing it as early as May, but this depends on how the progress of development goes throughout the early access period, and they will decide and announce the full release of the game as soon as they possibly can. But what about early access versus version 1.0? With the release of early access, the game will include the story playable up to roughly halfway point, where they focus on SP battle and the car tuning features. There will also be player skill gains, which is a new feature to the franchise, which will also be included in early access. The plan for the full release of the game to include additional storylines, vehicles, and rival characters, as well as to continue making improvements and address various potential issues before the full release. As for its current state, there are going to be over 200 rival characters, each with their own unique storyline, a total of 50 playable cars, and over 180 kilometers worth of the Shuto Expressway. As for pricing, with the addition of content and features, the devs may decide to increase the price for full release. However, people who purchase the early access version will be able to continue playing the full release version upon launch. And finally, for community involvement, they'll be collecting feedback through the Steam community, and they are open to receiving suggestions, bug reports, and feedback in general. So if you do have any feedback from what you've seen so far, do go and let them know. Now, for probably one of the most important things, the car lists. This is what's been confirmed so far with what has been shown. We've got the Nissan Skyline GT-R V-Spec 2, the Nissan Fairlady 370Z, the Toyota Supra RZ, the Mazda 3, the Mazda RX-7 Type RZ, the Mazda RX-8, the Toyota GR86, the Toyota AE86, Toyota GT86, the Subaru Impreza WRX STI Spec C, the Subaru BRZ, and the Suzuki Swift Sport. They've also confirmed who the rivals are, and some of you who are familiar with the franchise will recognize some of these names. Rolling Guy number 1 will be in the AE86 Torino, Yemi Tengo will be in the WRX STI, Gloomy Angel in the RX-8, Jackknife in the BRZ, Bloodhound in the GT86, Midnight Rose in the Fairlady Z, and the Shua Shua Strong in Mazda 3. We also have a confirmed listed vendors for customization options for aero and wheels. So under aero, you're going to have Blitz, BN Sports, Bomex, Sea West, Do-Look, Impul, Ings, Night Sports, Cool, Result Japan, Rowan, Sims, Tom's Racing, Trial, Trust, Urus, and Varus. For wheel vendors, you've got BBS, Enki, Fabulous, Hot Stuff, Midwheels, Raids, and SSR. Now for system requirements. For minimum, you're going to need an Intel Core i7-7700, 16GB of RAM, and an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 Ti with VRAM equivalent to 4GB, with 12GB of additional space. And they've also mentioned for 1920 by 1080 with graphic settings at low is recommended, and an SSD is also recommended. For recommended specs, you've got an Intel Core i7-13700 with 16GB of RAM, and for graphics an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 with VRAM of 8GB, or an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 Ti with VRAM 8GB, and they've said both of those because they've recommended putting graphic settings at high, but for the ultra graphic settings, that's where the RTX 4060 or higher is recommended. And that's it, that is everything we know so far about Tokyo Xtreme Racer. Whether you're new to the franchise or a returning fan, let me know what you think of it in the comments section below and whether you will be picking up in a couple of weeks' time. If you enjoyed this video, found it helpful and informative and like to see more content like this one, make sure you are subscribed. I'll be covering more Tokyo Xtreme Racer info when it comes available, as well as other racing and simulation games, all the latest news and updates. So if that interests you, stick around and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.